President Joe Biden delivering a passionate address to the Democratic convention last night as well. Listen to this.
We've had candidates before who attempted to get elected by appealing to our fears, but they've never succeeded because we do not scare easily. We never bow. We never bend. We never break when confronted with crisis. No, we endure. We overcome, and we always, always, always move forward. That's why I can say with absolute conviction, I am more optimistic about our chances today than when I was elected as a 29-year-old kid to the Senate. The 21st century is going to be the American century.
I want to bring in Republican pollster and Fox News contributor Frank Luntz with us right here. Frank, good to see you.
Pleasure.
All right, so let's talk about whether or not this resonated. The question we've been asking our guests all this week is, you've got a whole block of supporters for Hillary, you've got a whole other block of supporters for Trump, then there's this enormous block of independents and undecided.
It's not that big, though.
I just got to tell you,
like
Frank's been polling since his days at Penn in 1980, so he's the best at this.
He's the real deal.
He started before there was polling.
So we're class of 8. I mean, this is, you put on two people who went to the same university, graduated on the same day. I think he got better grades than I did, and I think I think that his house is bigger than mine, just for the record. So I'm watching these. Really, Hillary Clinton's base is 45%. Donald Trump's base is 45%. So they're fighting over 10%. And there's one clip, and I agree with the choice of Joe Biden. That clip right there was very powerful. I'm hoping that the control room has this, which is Mike Bloomberg.
Yeah.
I always spend 1 hour on the floor each day of the convention, and I had just stepped on the floor when Mike Bloomberg was speaking, and he blew me away with this clip that hopefully we can air.
Let's run it.
There are times when I disagree with Hillary Clinton, but let me tell you, whatever our disagreements may be, I've come here to say we must put them aside for the good of our country. And we must unite around the candidate who can defeat a dangerous demagogue.
Was that the line,
That's
dangerous
the line,
demagogue?
dangerous demagogue. And it stopped me. And they're all yelling, keep moving, because the floor was so crowded last night. And I stopped. And the security guy's like, you can't stop there. I said, wait a minute, dangerous demagogue. Do you understand how powerful, how significant that is? First off, it's an alliteration, which means that everyone's listening to it. Second is that is about as negative as you can be. The thing about Mike Bloomberg is he's uncensored. He's unedited. He is Donald Trump, except more sophisticated in what he does. And I've never heard language like that on the floor.
I would agree with Frank. I thought, listen, Joe Biden was amazing. The president was amazing. But the Bloomberg speech was a bit startling in a positive way, obviously being a Hillary person, because I never thought he would come in as the attack dog. And to me, the two bookends, obviously demagogue is the A-plus bookend. The other bookend is he called him a con man. I mean, those two bookends, kind of to try to stereotype Donald in that way is just unbelievable.
Powerful language, but were those 10% watching and listening to that?
They watch. These conventions are getting a higher audience. And by the way, to my surprise, on the first night, the Democrats actually had a higher rating than the Republicans did in their convention. I would never have expected that. They are paying attention to it only in the 10 to 11 p.m. hour, but it filters its way into the bloodstream. And right now, that 10% really dislikes Donald Trump, really dislikes Hillary Clinton. And her challenge, and I'll give you, if I were her campaign manager, I would lower the podium. I would remove the teleprompters, and I would have her come out and look the American people straight in the eye and say, I don't need a speech. I don't need someone else's words. I don't need a podium.
But she does, though, doesn't she? I mean, she's capable of giving that
That's not good. By the way, to be clear, that's not happening.
Right.
But
because it's such an important speech, she's got to get it right. That will open her up to potential mistakes.
But authenticity for her
is really critical.
Authenticity is absolutely critical because she's been in Washington for 25 years.
What I was going to say is some of the most positive things that she has going for her is her surrogate base going into the next 3 months with President Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie, President Obama, Biden, and Michelle. It's also the toughest group of act to follow.
Right.
Okay, and
The
you
bar
know,
is really high
the bar
right
is
now.
really high. Last night was as good as a night can ever be.
Look, we know that Trump got a bounce from his convention. Frank, you made headlines last week with your expectation of the convention bounce, putting Trump ahead of Hillary. What are you expecting out of this convention for Hillary? Will we see a bounce?
You'll definitely see a bounce. I think that she will pull back even with Trump. There's a poll yesterday that had Trump up by 7 points. The Republicans had a good convention. The Democrats, after Monday, have had a good convention. When it's all said and done, if I see you 1 week from today, it will absolutely be a dead heat. It'll be within the margin of error.
When will people start really focusing on the issues, the policies? When should we really expect that we're going to have a clear idea and believe the polls?
If a candidate has more than a 5-point lead after the first debate, so it's roughly 1 month from today,
Yeah.
that candidate will be the next president. That first debate is going to be watched by millions. And we need to create a drinking game, the four of us, and patent that drinking game for only people who are old enough to drink, because we will never have to work for Fox again. We will be so rich. So many millions of people are going to tune in, and they're going to want to drink after that debate is over.
What are we drinking?
What are we drinking?
Me, in my case, I'm drinking soda.
I thought you would have said the best line of the night, which, by the way, they didn't even know how to put it on the subtitles, was malarkey.
Yeah,
No,
they
when-
didn't. Exactly. There was nothing about that.
I picked out that
When
word because I'm a
Biden's-
student of
That
When
is
Biden
funny.
says
You're
malarkey,
right. It
I'm
was
sitting
like
in a
all
box, no
crazy
one
things.
understood.
Right, no one knew it.
A bunch
If
of
you were
malarkey.
if you were just reading the screen, you didn't know what he said.
I tweeted, I'm going to start saying balderdash all the time.
Well, for the first time ever, I heard someone use the F word on the air on Fox.
Ooh, no, I didn't
So
hear that.
this has
Wow.
been a convention of language, of wonderful words.
A
Wow.
lot has happened these last 2 weeks, that's for sure. Frank, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Frank.
Frank Luntz there.